This is the plaintiff, Kelly Rocco. She says she purchased 2 puppies from the defendant, but the woman refuses to actually turn the dogs over to her. That's right, the defendant wants her to prove she's going to be able to care for the dogs properly or something like that. Who does this woman think she is anyway? She paid her money, and now she wants her dogs or her money back. She's suing for $425, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, Deborah Supnick. She says the woman took the puppies home for a brief time, but didn't take care of them properly, and she refused to sign a contract and abide by the rules of the pet adoption. The poor things had ticks on their bodies, uncut nails, and they would cower in the corner as if they'd been abused. She was happy to return the woman's $300 adoption fee, but the next thing she knows, she's being sued. She's accused of not giving in.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
Welcome,
Okay, Kelly Rocco, you are suing Deborah Supnick.
Yes.
For $425. The cost of 2 adoption fees that you paid for 2 puppies, plus your shots and neutering charges, because you feel that they have inappropriately confiscated the puppies from you. What happened?
Well, I'd purchased the puppies from Deborah. I'd asked her to watch both of them over the weekend. I was going to my daughter's graduation.
Okay, let's back it up a second. You bought 2 dogs from her, and what kind of dogs were they?
Just mixed breed.
Okay, all right. In the contract, it's free babysitting or something? Kind of like
No, it was actually a courtesy that we had extended out to her, that if she
just
ever...
this one time?
No, for...
Forever?
Yeah, I mean, we're new.
Do you have
so
that
we wanted to
contract?
just extend that out to her, to make it kind of easier, because they
What
are
if she
puppies.
leaves every weekend?
I'm fine with that.
Really?
Yeah, because I raised them since they were 4 days old.
All right. So you bring the puppies home. You have them home for a while? How long?
5 weeks.
All right. So you take the dogs to be pet sat by her. And what happens?
I dropped them off Saturday morning. That evening, I received a text message from Deborah that she was going to call me to please answer my phone. I didn't hear anything more from her, but then I looked and I had gotten a phone call from her partner, Nikki. She had said that there were ticks on the dogs and that Deborah was concerned. I said I was not aware of the ticks. I had always been told before with puppies that they couldn't be treated till they were 6 months old, so I had not treated them yet.
But no matter what, even if you don't put a chemical on the dog, you could always pull it off. Well, actually, what I really do, tell me if I'm doing the wrong thing, is I take a match. And I'm very careful because I want the tick to shrink, and that way it won't hurt the dog.
Actually, what you should use is the Blue Dawn soap. Get a cotton ball. Put it on the cotton
That's
ball.
a much better way. I'm
And
glad
rub
I
it on the
asked.
dog.
Yeah, because it's like, I got 2 people holding the dog down 1 second
Yeah.
while I do, because I don't want to hurt the dog. So
Right.
there's something specific about.
It smothers them. It suffocates the ticks.
Fascinating.
And then they pull
Okay.
out.
All right. So did you not realize you could pull them off?
No, I was not aware they were on the dogs.
Oh, you didn't know at all that they were on it?
until they had contacted me that night.
Okay.
So I spoke with Nikki for probably 10 or 15 minutes. She said that they wanted to discuss it, do another contract, have me prove that I was treating them every month. And I said I wasn't sure about signing another contract other than stating just that I was going to treat the ticks, that without any other stuff thrown in
Obligations?
there.
Because I'm looking at your contract, and I have to tell you, I mean, you do wonderful work. That's great and wonderful, but in a million years, I would never sign this. And I guess lots of the rescues, you modeled it after other rescues that do the exact same thing.
Right.
They want to know that the dogs are going to a good home and you're going to remain a good home. So they actually have you sign a contract that says if we decide it's not a good home, we keep your dog and you don't get a refund. Why
There's
would you
actually
sign that? Stop, I'm not talking
Sorry.
to you right now, please. Why would you sign that? I mean, if
Because-
you really want to rescue a dog and have that warm all over glow, why don't you just go to the pound and
It's
the
very hard to
Humane
get
Society
puppies,
where
and
they
I
don't have all these strings attached, Were you going on vacation or something?
Well, no, the one night we were just going out to dinner with my daughter. She was in D.C., graduating college. They weren't housebroken.
Right.
I knew she had the other puppies still.
How did you get these dogs anyway?
We rescued them from North Carolina.
How little were they when you?
4 days old.
Oh my goodness.
With Mom.
Where were they? Where?
With the mom.
Where had they been found? Do you know?
The previous owner had left them, and the mom actually left the mom who was pregnant, and she wound up finding her way to the neighbor's yard and collapsing and having puppies. And the neighbor was keeping them and the newborn puppies in the garage. This was in January, which was really cold. And he said that if a rescue couldn't take them, he was going to wind up killing the dogs.
Oh.
So that's when I said, that can't happen, and let's bring them here.
All right, so now you have the dogs in your care.
Yes.
And you notice what?
When I had simply just pet Tucker, I found one tick, and following that one tick were 7 ticks on him. One which was a Lyme tick, and a couple of other ones which...
And Lyme ticks are more dangerous because?
They can, once infected, it can cause them to have temporary paralysis, multitude of health issues as well for the dog. Painful, it's, makes them tired, not energetic, not, living a normal full life. And then after checking Tucker, I checked Chloe. Chloe had 5 ticks on her. That wasn't the only thing that I noticed. Chloe's ribs, as you'll see in the pictures of stuff that I have for you, her ribs were protruding.
Let's see the pictures.
The before pictures were when they had just come back from Kelly's house.
Okay, can you give me a moment?
I just wanted to say actually one thing. I completely understand dogs get ticks all the time, but the way that how big they were and how engorged they were in the skin, they were left there.
Kind of skinny. You got the impression between the 7 ticks you say you found on one of them and how skinny, was it the same one that was skinny?
Well, there was a problem with both dogs, but the weight loss was just from Chloe.
And then the other, one dog had 7 ticks on him and the other dog?
Yeah.
Had what?
5, which the other one was found the next day. I guess something that we had missed. But clearly... If
you had missed it, maybe she had missed it and she wasn't being neglectful.
Well, if you pet the dogs, you would feel them. They were very visible.
How'd you miss them then?
I don't know.
Okay, well, so talk to me about, I mean, it's like the nuclear option to decide I'm not giving you back the dogs and you lost your adoption fee. That's really the nuclear option. Why did that end up happening in this case rather than trying to work something out?
We did.
Okay.
We did. She, after the ticks and the weight loss and the behavior of the dogs.
Tell me about the behavior.
Tucker, when I put my hand near his head, he would go like this. And that I wasn't okay with.
Okay, because that you felt was a sign of a dog that had been struck.
Yes, or being abused. Every time you yell, he cowers. Even if you say no, he cowers. That is not.
Well, my dog cowers when I say no.
Yeah, but even when you go touch them, I'm sure he doesn't cower.
Well, she's very skittish, but she would never do that with us. She would do that with somebody who she's unfamiliar with because she has stranger fear.
Right. Well, these are puppies I've raised, so I know that they're
I know this because a very good friend of mine who's a dog lover came over and immediately looked at me with accusatory eyes.
Right.
When my dog went, I said, no, she just doesn't like you. It's not complex.
Yeah.
And
no, we have a dog that does that actually. Our dog Diamond, she does that because she's not used to other people. But from raising these dogs to 4 days, and like I told her, you think I want to have 7 puppies in my house?
No, I don't.
I don't.
I don't. I think that your goal is to actually successfully adopt dogs. That's the reason why you incorporated. Otherwise, you'd be really nuts.
You did ask about the...
But here's the thing. So you decided I'm keeping the dogs, or how did that work out that it broke down?
No, what happened was I had talked to... when I first actually tried to contact her, she wasn't able to answer the phone. She then talked to my partner, Nikki, who had tried to explain these things, and her response was, well, can this wait? I don't have time for this. And hung up when we were trying to explain to her what was going on and trying to let her know that, look, we've given you verbal warning and let you know about, the upkeep of the dogs.
The verbal warning was when she purchased them?
When we first did the home check and at the time of the adoption, even after when she would bring them over for babysitting, flea and tick, trim their nails, things like that. And she, the response was not very warming, not very caring, whatever. Maybe she was busy. So she then stated, we had the agreement that she would come the next morning to pick up, it was going to be Tucker because Chloe was going to stay until Tuesday to get spayed. So I had called her and tried to let her know, look, no one's going to be there. My brother cannot make it. He had a family emergency.
Did you leave a message or?
I did leave a message for her to call me back, and she never called me back.
Well, maybe she didn't pick up her phone messages. So what happened? You ended up going to their house and waiting an hour and a half.
Yes. They came home. Her husband approached me and said that, but if they considered letting Tucker come home with me, I would have to sign a contract, but they didn't have a contract available. And
Had she told you not to go by, that they weren't ready?
she said she wasn't home.
Okay, so you went because you were starting to get the heebie-jeebies about
Yes.
whether they were going to release the dogs to you at all.
Yeah,
So it's not surprising that he said, I don't have a contract ready for you because you weren't expected. And then what happens?
Then Deborah approached the car and said that they could not let the dogs go home with me. So I called the police, and he said that because of the contract, he couldn't intervene. And he said to go to court.
And here we are.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So does it seem right for this rescue group to say, we get the dog back if we don't think you're a good dog owner and we keep your money?
I think so. If you think you're an overzealous owner and you think you have the capacity to own the animal, then of course you're going to take that contract.
Well, but you could go to different places or not get the dog from that place. Is it smart for them to say, we're not going to give you your money back even if we take the dog back?
I don't think it's smart for them to say that. I think you should have the right to get your money back. If they want to take the animal, they can take the animal, but give you at least half of your refund.
What do you think, sir? I'm going to the back.
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, fair enough. Way to take a stand, though. Going inside the courtroom.
At some point, you offered to give her back her adoption fee.
We actually, the contract that you were speaking about, she declined. When we offered to write up the contract, she said absolutely not.
So giving her back only $300 and not the...
No. This was to implement the contract. At first, trying to give her back the dogs and
with
letting her
further conditions.
Right, just letting her, saying, look, you have to abide by these, certain rules,
And we want to micromanage it.
and we want to micromanage it.
And
so
that's where-
she said absolutely
Well, that's
not.
where what? See, here's the thing. I would never, ever, ever let someone tell me how to take care of my dog. Okay?
I didn't realize
but
that's
you
what I was
did.
getting into.
No, but you did. But you have eyeballs and you read the contract and you know what it says. And so really it's a simple contracts case for me. I mean, they can't just exercise capriciously. They're right under the contract. If I thought that she was doing this because she missed the dogs, I would turn around and say, wait a minute, that's just bad faith. She can't operate in bad faith. But if I think that she's operating from, look how skinny the dogs are, and quite frankly, one of those dogs, I can see the bones on it. And if I think that she's, I'm talking, or if I think that she's operating from a standpoint of, look at all these ticks hurting the dog, and if you just pet the dog, furthermore, you had like these other theories. Where did you get your theories that the dogs were always left outside?
Because she had told the pet watch lady that they went from a mudroom to outside and were not allowed at any part of the house ever.
According to you, she said that to Pet Watch.
According to Pet Watch, that's what she said. Yes.
Yeah. According to you, Pet Watch told you she said that to you. That's what we call rank hearsay.
Yes.
But do you have anything of that in writing from Pet Watch? No. Right?
No, I asked her, but she didn't want to get involved.
I have the text
Were the dogs
messages.
inside or outside?
We were both in
Indoors
wherever
and
I was.
outdoors. Well, I mean, unless your house has ticks. Here's really where we are. I have to decide whether or not the contract you signed allows her to do what it is she did. Let me tell you what the contract you signed says. I agree to notify Angel Pet Rescue within 10 days of any change of address. It is also understood that a representative from Angel Paws Pet Rescue may examine said animal within the first year. If not satisfied with the condition of the dog, said dog can be or may be removed immediately and placed in a different home. Blah, blah, blah. And the adoption fee is non-refundable. Okay. What am I supposed to do with the contract that you signed? I can't pretend you didn't sign it and not abide by it. 7 ticks is a lot. 5 ticks is a lot. I feel the first tick and that's it because I'm trying to put myself in the dog's fur and I wouldn't want to tick on my leg and everybody telling me, yeah, just suck it up. I'd want the tick gone. I don't know that I would let my husband near me with a match, but, yeah.
I said, look, we don't usually refund the money, but let's just try to make everybody happy. I will refund you $150 for each dog, $300, which she agreed to. I then had our attorney write up a contract. Then after we had him write up the contract, she asked me to email it to her and her attorney.
And then you got served.
And then I got served after she verbally agreed to it.
Yeah.
So now what do? I tried to make everything work.
Right. I'm sorry, but I cannot pretend you didn't sign this contract. I can't, and I feel bad because I'm sure you bonded with the dogs, but this is the bed you made, and therefore I find in favor of the defendant.
Thank you.
And with that ruling for the defendant, the plaintiff comes out here empty-handed. Come on in here. So as the judge says, that's what you signed up for, and that's what you got.
Yes, I guess I need to read a little closer, and I never thought ticks would be a care issue.
Any argument with that decision there?
I don't know.
All right, so what are you going to do now? What are you going to do?
Yes.
What?
I will probably go to a breeder.
All right. Right down there. Are you too strict with these people? Can anybody rise to your standards?
Yes, we've successfully adopted a couple dogs, and everything's been fine. It's unfortunate that she wasn't able to maintain the dog's weight and keep up with
Well,
dogs.
why don't you give him more of a chance to...
We did. We warned her many times. It might be too hard, but what are you going to do when you have dogs that are dead because people aren't taking care of them?
Okay, Harvey.
Okay, here's the one thing you need to realize. None of these contracts are set in stone. You can always negotiate with them, and if you want to say in the contract, say, I'm not taking that dog unless you guarantee I get my money back, you might just make that deal. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.